Hello traders and welcome to the market opening preview on a Monday, April 18th, 2016. Traders, great to be with you, coming to you live from Pattaya, Thailand, early in the morning. Bright blue skies and very hot and a beautiful blue Gulf of Thailand this morning. Traders, this is brought to you through FXCL Excellence in Trading. Traders, like I said, great to be with you. We have a lot to talk about this morning. Quite a mixed bunch of charts as I did them today. And no news today, very slow. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. However, let me introduce myself to you. My name is William Gilday. I'm your moderator for the Market Opening Preview Series. And we do this every day before the London Open. Traders, I will tell you that I do record this in the Asia session. So if you're watching this at the European Open, just go back about 10 candles and you can see where I started my presentation. Traders, I started trading in the year of 2006. 2008, I retired from a wonderful 27-year career as a firefighter paramedic out of the great state of Florida. Traders, 9 days later, came to Thailand for a 3-month holiday to celebrate my retirement. Well, traders, just started my 9th year in Thailand, and happy to be here. Really enjoying the Asia lifestyle and also the time zone. Traders, I could trade Asia, London, and the first 2 to 3 hours of New York and still get a good night's rest. What a lot of fun that is. And of course, no, I don't sit in front of my computers for 18 hours a day. That's why we have technology. iPhones, iPads, Androids, all that stuff. Find one of them to take with you and you can follow your trades on the go. So traders, I'm a fundamentalist. I do listen to fundamentals quite a bit all through the trading day. I pay for a news feed, and that tells me what's going on and also if there's any surprises that come out. We've had a horrible earthquakes, 2 of them this week. One was in Japan, the other one was in Ecuador. Yesterday, I think it was a 7.8 on the magnitude, which is horrible. So, it's good to know that. It's good to know what's going on all the time. And that's because we're macro traders. We don't trade one currency pair, we trade the globe. The other thing I am is I'm a technician, and I love being a technician. I love reading charts. I love reading candlesticks, price action, price structure, price failure, support, resistance. I do use Fibonacci a lot. I probably use that tool more than any other tool, is Fibonacci tool. And I do have 3 exponential moving averages on my charts, which you'll see. And that is the 200, the 55, and the 10. So that's just a little bit about myself. Let's get over to the risk disclaimer so we can get to these charts and keep the legal people happy. Traders, Forex trading has a large potential rewards, but also a large potential of risk. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the Forex markets. Most importantly, traders, please do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Traders, always remember that past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. Traders, remember, this is an educational video. This is not a trade alert. Don't trade my trade plans. Trade your trade plan, right? All right. Let's head over to news and commentary and see how the markets did on Friday. Really not real well on the U.S. side. Let's take a look at the Dow 30 was closed negative 0.16%. The S&P 500 closed negative 0.10%, and the NASDAQ closed negative 0.16%, with the small cap 2000 closing positive 0.26%. Traders, let's move over to the Eurozone. Let's take a look. The DAX closed negative 0.42%. The FTSE 100 closed negative 0.34%, and the CAC 40 closed negative 0.36%, and the Eurostoxx 50 closed negative 0.23%. Traders, come on over to Asia, where I am currently located. The current Nikkei 225, which is currently trading, is negative 2.89% at the open this morning. The S&P ASX 200 out of Australia is negative 0.60%. The China A50, which has about another hour before it opens, closed positive 0.21%. And the Shanghai, which also opens in about 45 minutes, closed positive 0.05%. However, the Kospi out of Seoul is currently trading, and they are negative 0.54%. So that's what's going on there. Let's take a look at the economic calendar today. Economic calendar is pretty poor. Earlier today in Asia, New Zealand had its CPI year on year It actually came out at zero point 0.4. Consensus was zero point 0.4. No big news there. However, CPI quarter on quarter consensus was zero point 0.1, came out at 0.2, beat expectations, and that was a big mover. And you're going to see some gaps on the chart. I'm pretty sure that's what that came from. Also, we have today in the Asia session is RBA meeting minutes, which is a medium impact news event. However, I think it's something we should need to keep an eye on. And traders, I have to be honest with you, that is really about it. We have a Fed speaker in the U.S. session. FOMC member Dudley speaks today. And that's it. So it's a all technical trading day on a Monday after a busy week last week, and looks to be a busy week in the week ahead. All right, so commentary is, well, I think a couple of things happened over the weekend that were pretty interesting. One is they had the Doha meeting. For those of you not familiar with that, that was the OPEC and non-OPEC members meeting in Doha to discuss what they're going to do about oil production. And of course, the big one is Iran, that is now online, exporting oil again. And apparently, from what I read today, it was a flop. Basically, nothing was accomplished, and I think that's a little bit of a contribution why we have some gaps in some of these charts. I'm really not sure, to be honest with you, but it was a flop, and nothing actually happened. But it was pretty crazy on Friday, early on Friday, they were saying that this meeting was not going to work out and was going to be a flop. And Thursday, there was a Saudi prince commented also that he didn't think that this meeting really was going to do anything. And it didn't do anything. So that's what's going on there. I think the Kiwi dollar data today is basically what moved the charts a little bit. But very interesting charts today. So let's get started. We'll start with the euro dollar. This moved up in the U.S. session and then, came back down. Very choppy price action. Basically, I just want this to come back up to the 200 exponential moving average. I'm not expecting a lot out of our charts today. I'm really not looking for a lot to happen in our charts today. So, if I can get back up to the 1307 area, we can get out of here and hit a sell trade. Or, if you can get down to 1390, hit a sell trade, but realize you're going into that daily pivot in that 55 EMA, and you're going to get a bounce there. So that means you have to put your stop like at the R1 or above the 200 exponential moving average. So you're going to risk some risk there to do that. And of course, we want to take profit at support, and that's at the S1 pivot of 1.1247. I'm not expecting a lot of price action today, folks. So my trade plans are very, very conservative, very, very conservative. And if price doesn't come to me, we just won't do anything. We'll just leave it alone. All right, let's take a look at the pound dollar. The pound dollar, again on Friday, did the up move, and now it's come back down late in New York, and then continued in the opening of Asia, and now it's sideways. So I'm looking for a very easy trade. I'm bearish in this, by the way. I want a trend line break, retest of the trend line, and let's sell it. We're going to get a bounce at the S1 if you look left of the chart. We do have some price action. And we're going to take profit at the S2 reversal pivot point at 1483. So we'll try to get in at 4172, try to get out at 4083. It's a nice 80 pip trade if this works out for us today. Let's see what happens. Here's our first chart with a gap. This is the Aussie dollar. This is gap down big time. And the down candle is still on the move. And nothing had come out within the hour that made this candle move down. There was no news events. I've had my news feed on. I've been in front of my computer for over 2 hours already this morning, early in Thailand. In fact, it's currently 7:20 a.m. in the morning for me. So that's going to be 1920 on Wall Street. So, yeah. So I need this to pull back, right? We need this to really close this gap. So I'm looking for it to pull back up to this S1 and close the gap, and we get it at 0.7689. And we'll get out at the S3 at 0.7632. I just don't know what's going to happen with this pair. And I can't do anything until we get some sort of a correction on this big red candle. Is it going to continue? Is it not going to continue? So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And to show you a mimic of this, just on the opposite side, let's take a look at the Euro Aussie, and that is basically in the same situation, only in the opposite direction. However, I'd like this to come up to this all one pivot, and I'm sorry, that's R3 pivot. And that's at 1.4811. So like at 1.4790, I'd look to sell this, and we could take it all the way, back down to the S1 pivot, and that'll be at 1.4684, and then see what happens, because then your gap's going to be closed. There isn't a lot of price action left of the chart, so we might be able to take this all the way down to the daily pivot point, and you can see that it says D pivot, that magenta line there, and see if we can get that to come down. But these are scary at the moment. They're not in the direction we want them. So maybe we'll go up in Asia, and London will bring everybody back down, and then we'll go back up again in New York. That's sort of like how I'm looking at how today could happen. All right, let's take a look at the Euro Yen, another pair with a gap in it. To the downside, not a lot to do here. I'm waiting for the gap to close. You can counter trend line this. I did put a magenta line on the bottom of the chart showing support, double bottom, and we might be able to buy this up to close the gap. That's not a bad idea, nor a bad trade. However, once you close the gap, I'd get out of the trade and look to sell this. Remember, this is really a bearish pair. And we'd love to get in this at 122.78 and sell it all the way back down to like the 12200 area or the 121.90 area. So that's what I'm looking like at that price level. So I'm bearish. I'm not against counter trend trading this to close the gap, and then I'll be more than happy to take it back to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at here on the Euro Yen. Folks, like I said, take a look at the New Zealand dollar. You can see this was our data that came out today. And you can see these really whacked out candles with these big whips, whipsawed everybody in both directions. Was not a good news trade to trade if you're trading the news, that's for sure. Definitely got beat up on this one. So what am I looking for? Basically, I'm looking for price to close below the 200 exponential moving average. Give me a retest, and let's see if we can get in this at 0.6878, and we'll get out at the S2 reversal pivot point, because we only have the S1 and a little bit of price action left of the chart. I think we can get down to that 0.6813, which, like I said, is the S2 pivot. 68.15, somewhere in there, and we can get out. Because we have really a wide open space here to take this to the downside. And of course, the New Zealand dollars, is absolutely bearish and has been for quite some time. All right, traders, that wraps up our 6 currency pairs on a Monday. Looks to be like a technical trading day. Don't know if it's going to be slow or not, but we'll keep an eye on it throughout the trading day. Traders, on behalf of myself, William Gilday, and our great friends at FXCL Excellence Trading, I want to thank you for joining me, and we'll catch you in about 24 hours. Take care, traders, and have a great day. See you next time. Bye-bye.